you get to see the results of the summer strength and conditioning program, what Kurt Hester's done, and what did you see out of your defensive unit from what transpired over the summer?
I saw a lot of good things. I thought, I mean, in my opinion, and this isn't just blowing smoke or coach speech. I think we got one of the best strength coaches, if not the best strength staff in America. We were just talking about it as a staff in the locker room on both sides of the ball. If we can put this together in 27 days with the speed we play with, and not everything was perfect as far as assignments and everything, but the speed and the strength of our guys, my hat's off to the strength staff. They did a phenomenal job.
We talked to Coach yesterday about some of the different things that Lloyd Grogan and Michael Mims brings to the table. Today you saw a couple of those wrinkles. Are you excited to be able to put that in and see it into motion?
Oh yeah, I mean, guys like that, they're both smart kids. You know, they got position flexibility, and I tell our guys that all the time. The more flexibility you have at a position, the more valuable you are to our defense. And I preach it all the time. If you run, if you're fast and you're physical, we'll find a spot for you. And both those guys bring that to the table, and really excited about really both of them, what they did. You know, it was their first day at a new position again, move Mims into Will, but he's a baby genius. So, you know, I was really impressed with him. And Lloyd played some of our, you know, our nickel Sam last year, and he was comfortable with it, and it wasn't brand new for him either. So it's really encouraging after one day.
And then Coach said that Aaron Brown's out right now. And how did you think? I know you can't tell a whole lot from defensive linemen this early, but how did you think Cedric looked out there?
You know, I didn't notice anything good or bad. You know, we'll go upstairs and watch the tape after this. But I mean, to me, it's hard to say. You know, especially being in the middle right there. But I think it's a positive that he didn't stand out on any bad things. You know, and once we go back to the tape, I'll be able to answer that with more clarity.
Skip said yesterday that the defense would be like 80% similar. Where is the 20% from?
That's our secret, man.
Without giving it away from a general.
No, and I think when he says that, we'll continue to evolve. You know, I think if you were to look at Coach Diaz at Mississippi State, they're not going to be exactly the same as last year. I think with personnel, you gotta be able to play to the strengths of your personnel as well. So, you know, give or take 20%. We're not going to be exactly the same, I guess, is what I think he was saying. And I think it's hard to put a percentage on it. But we'll continue to evolve and continue to grow with our personnel.
And today you had Efren Kitchen out there, James Jackson. You had some babies, for lack of a better term. Is that concerning? Is it exciting?
After what I saw out of those two, man, really, you know, like I said, we'll go back and see the film, but just a flashpoint point of view, I thought both those guys had great days. I know Ephraim gave up a deep ball, but I can already tell he's got that corner mentality that it didn't phase him the next play. Mature kid, comes from a great program in South Panola, and the same thing with James Jackson up in Haynesville. I mean, those guys that come in from great programs like that, they understand what it takes to be a champion. So as far as the maturity level and what they do on the field, it really didn't come as a surprise to me what they were able to do, but I was really encouraged with both of those guys. And in reality, they are babies, but at the same time, we're going to count them. You know, Cedric Cooper was a quote-unquote baby last year, and Russell Ferris, Deldrick Kenny. We just got to continue to get them to grow, and they're going to have ups and downs as freshmen, but I was really encouraged after one day out of both those guys.
Regardless of the percentage, Coach Holtz was saying in the spring and since that it's big for these guys to be able to stay in the same, if not similar, system for 2 years. Hasn't happened in a while. At this point, have you seen the guy? Do they seem comfortable?
Oh, absolutely. I think we talked about it today as a defense. As far as we're able to install at a much quicker pace. You know, older guys have gone through 2 springs and a fall. This is obviously their second fall, but we're installing at a much quicker pace with those guys. It's probably harder on some of the freshmen, you know, to learn at that level. But from guys that played a lot of football for us last year, it's been a seamless transition. Terminology is the same. Like I said, we're doing a lot of the same stuff that we did last year, and to watch these guys grow over the span of another spring and coming into fall, it's pretty cool to see.
For you personally, being the first fall practice as DC, do you feel like you've already kind of hit your groove, or is it still a little?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be bumps along the way, but I think that I think it was a lot easier for me to come in, not having to, as a first-time coordinator, having to install a defense, teach 3 new coaches and 50 new kids. Being able to teach 1 or 2 coaches and 10 kids we might be counting on that didn't learn it last year has made it a lot easier on me, I would say. But it's been pretty cool.
In the spring, we talked about, you know, the expectations and the numbers that y'all put up, you know, from a statistical standpoint to, you know, all right, let's do it again this year. Specifically with X, how does he take his game to the next level, just considering the type of year he had last year?
You know, and that's a good question, because we don't. The one thing that I believe in, if you harp on stuff like that, or you put a number on something, don't look past what got you there. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is work every single day. If the numbers come to you, we're going to build a wall on defense. They decide who makes the play. You know, if everybody does their job. As far as X is concerned, I don't see any reason. He will have a better year. There's no doubt about it. If he has 6 picks and leads the country in interception yards, that's to be seen. But he will be a better football player for us this year with his maturity. Another guy comes from a great program, you know, in West Monroe. The guy's been a professional since the day he walked in here. He's taken his game from a leadership level to the next step. I've been really, really impressed with him from last spring, this summer, and day 1.
I remember the first time, I guess it was last winter, that we got to talk to you when he came here. You know, you said when Skip you talked to him about coming here, you were coaching the safeties at the time, and you were excited about the group.
Mm-hmm.
When you came in and saw X, like, what were your expectations with him? Has he exceeded them so far?
I would say he's exceeded them. As far as, it's rare you get a guy, especially last year as a sophomore, but he has the maturity level of a senior, of a 5th-year senior as a sophomore. And so it's the first time I've been around a player like that. I mean, the guy on and off the field, in the classroom, socially, I mean, he's grade A on all those. And so I've never been around a guy like that at such a young age to take his game to that level. So, yes, he's exceeded my expectations.
Is he better on the field or in the film room? Like Skip was saying he'll, like,
It's
know
tough.
the opponents and everything.
It's
like,
tough. I
Sunday.
mean, I think that's what makes him the player he is, you know, in the classroom. And I mean, the guy, I don't even know, like I said last year, I didn't even have an office, because every time I go in there, he's sitting at my desk watching film. He watches film as much as a coach, and that's not coach talk. I mean, like I said, I've never been around a player like him. He takes it serious. You can tell him something on the field, not go it over in the meeting, tell him something on the field, and bam, he won't mess it up again. Quick learner, great study. He just wants to perfect his craft, and he's an impressive young man.
Y'all give Coach Scott a hard time at his first FBS.
He's got the best job in America. That's what I told him. And Skip the other day, he tried to say, well, you lucked into that last year. I said, no, I got them to where they're at. I passed it on to Carl. No, but yeah, we give Carl a hard time about it, man.
And then he's now, James Jackson's there. I mean,
Yeah, Cedric
kind of
Cooper.
reload.
Yeah, and you know, in this defense, to me, it's one of the premier positions in this defense. We're very multiple. What we ask those guys to do, it's kind of the question earlier. We can adapt our defense to those guys as far as what their strengths and weaknesses are, but they're going to be in position to make a lot of plays. You know, it's I don't want to call it the glamour position of our defense, but it's one of the premier positions of our defense. It makes our defense go. A lot of times nowadays with the spread offenses, I tell them all the time, they're really the quarterbacks of the defense. You know, there's no more let's get in the huddle and call it from the sideline and the Mike linebacker. But those days are gone. And a lot of our checks come off what receivers do to us, and they do a phenomenal job. Kentrell and X both, and Coop.
One of the things Coach mentioned was opposing teams now have a year of film on us on Tech, and they've seen what Kentrell and Xavier can do. I guess, do you go into this year imagining not as many balls over the middle, and how do you play to that?
No, I think you know, one thing you try to do as a coordinator is make an offense play left-handed, and what I mean by that is what they do best. We're going to try to take that away. What they choose to do throughout the course of the game is what they think is going to be to their best value. But I don't think a year of film is going to change where they try to attack us, in my opinion.
Do you ever have to kick X out of your office for watching too much?
Yes, all the time. And he's like, "Well, send it to me on Galaxy, our little online deal." I'm like, "You got a problem. You got a problem, man." But he's a joy. He's a joy.
All right, thank you.